Hello, friends. I am that I am, Sarah of Sovereign Mind and Biological Autonomy, Biological Freedom. No longer having the tight little package that is the programming of the standardized form created in Atlantis. The shell has cracked open, and now we're in the mess, the chaos of allowing the light to shine through the cracks. Program qualia free. I'm joined with beloved, crazy, insane Kuthumi, and we are love with you. This is the February satsang. We're very late. We had a December-ish, January-ish satsang announcing our new series, The Anatomy of Light. The Anatomy of Light. What is the anatomy of the new human species? And guess what? We're not channeling the ascended masters who didn't do this. We're channeling you, the embodied beings right here on earth, the beings who have dared to go into further, who have dared to go farther than any ascended master has gone, even Kuthumi. And we are love with you. We are your biggest effing fans. Kuthumi always says, I'm your BFF, and we think it stands for best friend forever, but he's really saying, I'm your biggest effing fan. I'm your biggest freaking fan. He uses another word, but I modify for the YouTube videos. I'm here in Mexico. I just went surfing, drinking my coffee. Kuthumi and I did a new thing. We are doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? Like our friend Yeshua said. Yeshua was one of the first Magi's on earth to really allow spirit to inhabit earth. And that's what we're going to talk about today. A lot of people have lumped, especially in the Western world, soul and spirit into one category. And of course they're connected. Soul and spirit are so connected, but they're two very different things. And if we understand their differences, we can allow them to come together, creating new energy. It's free and it's all yours. All right. So in the East, there's a distinction between soul and spirit. And me, as Lauren, when I first showed up at Crimson Circle, the character called Adamus Saint Germain did a really good job. He talked about I am consciousness, and he talked about soul. And they were two very different things that interacted with each other and played off each other and created new energy. Somewhere along the line, they started to get lumped together. Soul and I am interchangeable. No, 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 no. Fine if you just want to have your realization. Drink some wine, party your ass off, and peace off of earth. Not so great if you want to be a new human species. Put down the wine, Kuthumi says. Put down the wine, stop partying. There's more to do. It's the joy work. It's your passion. Causeless, effectless passion. Beyond cause and effect. Duality, beyond karma. It's a passion from the I am consciousness. So soul, right? It's the thing that's gone with you from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to in between lifetimes to another lifetime. Soul has the quality of a material matter, physical representation in this relative reality we call Earth, the magic planet Earth, where love was created. Ooh, you feel it? Love was created here on Earth. It's human and divine. It's not divine and it's not just human, it's human and divine. Energy and consciousness coalesce in the heart center and explode into infinite potentials, possibilities, probabilities, and passageways. That's a lot of P's, Kuthumi. So soul has a material representation and an etheric, ether, the fifth element, ether quality. It is both, right? And spirit, until now, has only had an ether quality, right? So Spirit is your I am consciousness. Your soul is just all your energy. It's all the energy points, energetic imprints in the wall of fire, right? So we have soul energy, spirit consciousness, and the two coalesce, creating new energy, Christos energy. Another thing that we distinguish between is new, and it's not new opposed to old. New means infinite, right? New means infinite. Old would be finite, duality. Back to the days of Tobias, our favorite. We love you, Tobias. So what we're dealing with here is kind of a limitation created by language. We often hear from people who are in the dark night of the soul again. They always say again, right? Like they think it's going to go away and somehow they'll stop being in the dark night of the soul. So let's talk about it. I consider it a reorientation. The fiery vibration of truth, right? Which is called So Si Hoon, or dragon clarity. The fiery vibration of truth is the shadow side of spirit. And that shadow side of spirit casts down upon the soul, right? That fiery vibration of truth, that So Si Hoon, casts down a shadow on the soul, which is where the term dark night of the soul actually comes from. And it's reorienting this energy of the soul to prepare it to be able to come in to source. I am consciousness, source, and spirit, right? In the yoga world where I come from, funny enough, I am red, blonde haired. My hair changes color from red to blonde, depending on if I'm human or if I'm Sarah. Red, blonde, red, blonde. Hair dye makes no difference, right? So where I come from, there's one goal, one spiritual attainment, and then from there, everything unfolds. You don't hit an arrival point, you experience something, and then it becomes something new. And then that new thing becomes another new thing. And then there's another thing. And then it becomes something new. That's how new energy works, because you're infinite. You're not finite. If you hit an arrival point and you're just there and I'm just on earth, I'm going to drink some wine and watch a sunset. After a while, it gets pretty boring, right? You have a deep, deep, deep passion for something much greater, right? So soul has been on earth many, many times, right? 1,400 lifetimes, 2,000, even 3,000 lifetimes. And most of those lifetimes were not in the modern era. They were in Atlantis. They were in Lemuria. You were the OA, original angels who came to earth to play. The original intent of earth was, let's go play. Let's figure out how energy works. We're going to create a playground. Things got a little twisted along the way, and we start to untwist them. And Kuthumi and I's books, we have some news about that, but I'll put it at the end, right? So soul has been on earth many, many times. It's where all the wisdom lives. You experienced, expressed, and then you wisdomized the experience, which means you experienced in duality. And then the wisdomization removed the duality from the experience and distilled it into wisdom. You retain all the wisdom from all your lifetimes and in between lifetimes. Wisdom is a quality of the soul, which holds both a material and etheric quality, right? Source, spirit, I am consciousness has likely never been on planet Earth before. It hasn't had a material representation. What Yeshua showed us in his play that he acted out, which he prepared for in India through working with the same yogis that I work with. And I have a deep, deep connection to him and experience being in physical form with him. Maybe some of you did too, right? And you retain all that wisdom. But the fiery vibration of truth that comes from source is so different than wisdom. It could be represented by Nost, right? Nost, knowingness. Instead of my mind being an Atlantean designed mind-brain mechanism, what happens in how I interact in life is I have Nost. Nost does not time-based or cause and effect based. It's now-based. It's not based in time and space, yet it impacts it. Gnosis, it's not intuition. Intuition would be soul. Gnost, we don't define it because we want you to experience for yourself, right? We have a lot of people who come here and they're so used to people telling them how it went. We're never going to tell you how it went. We ask you to feel into it for yourself, right? We've had people tell us, well, I keep listening to these other highly, highly addictive materials because I don't trust myself enough to just let it go. And we say, oh, but you can, because you are spirit incarnate, possibly for the first time ever in physical form, right? So soul's like, can't we all just get along? And it's like, whatever anybody wants to do, that's great. And let's hold hands and sing kumbaya. That is soul. Source is that fiery vibration of truth. It's Yeshua's sons against mothers, daughters against fathers, the breakup of family. It's saying, it's Mary Magdalene leaving her family and her life to follow and travel with Yeshua, right? Soul says, oh, I need to stay here and be with my family. And then, right? This is a metaphor. I'm not telling you to leave your family. Please take care of them, right? But it's saying that come hell or high water, right? It's the fiery vibration of truth, and it doesn't care what it destroys. It's that fiery vibration of truth. It's divine will. It's the flow of divine will that says, you say, if there's any way for me to get out of this, let me out of this. And soul will say, oh, sure, you can get out of this. Go have another margarita. And source says, you can't get out of this. It's divine will. And eventually you learn that divine will is the most satisfying. Giving up what you thought you were giving up, human identity, human this, human that. Okay, right? So the shadow side of spirit is that it has this hierarchy thing. The shadow side of spirit is that it's at the top and everything else is below. Soul's below, humans below, right? So we have this humanity. You stop having the last human lifetime. You just let it go. When I started to work with Kuthumi in 2020, he said, get your popcorn, get your peanuts. Welcome to the greatest circus there is on earth. And I said, okay, what's the greatest circus that is on earth? And he said, it's you trying to cling to your realization like it was a bucking bronco at the rodeo. He's like, let go of your realization. And I was like, I can't let go of it. And then he's like, it's time. So source comes in, it says, great, you had your soul realization. Bam, let it go. Oh, but you worked so hard to get there. That's why Katumi's always acknowledging how much hard work you've done and everything else, because he's trying to get you to let it go. What do you do with someone who, has been great, right? They've been great, but it's time to move on. You give them an award. That's how everybody in the world operates. Oh, let's honor them for their contribution so we can put them out to pasture. When you're done and you're retired, someone gives you an award, right? So Katsumi's saying, here's your trophy for your realization. Here it is. Put your trophy on the mantle. Now let it go. Right? So source and the fiery vibration of truth, the so si hoon, loops back around and it says, and now we are doing a new thing. So soul and source are very different. And as I was saying, in the East, the goal is to get the soul to integrate back into spirit. Anytime you feel like I need to be seen, I'm not being heard, you're longing for something, it all relates back to soul longing to go home to spirit, Tobias's third circle of creation, for those of you who came from the Crimson Circle organization. God, it's so good. It's so good. Right, so we really need to distinguish between soul and source, soul and spirit, energy and consciousness, finite and infinite, material and immaterial, so we can bring all those concepts together to create the new human species. Oh, Kuthumi had a list of things. Yeah, so instead of the new language, instead of calling it a dark night of the soul, it's the shadow of source coming down and saying, it's just a reorientation. It's just a simple reorientation around a new truth. I reorient every day. Sometimes I have a month of intense reorientation. I've had several, about once a year in the 7 years since my initial realization, which is kids play now. Yeah, okay. Great job, Lauren. You did a good job. So where does the human come in? The human is what becomes humanity. Instead of having little Lauren, becomes all of humanity, and it adds the humility, the humbleness to spirit. So instead of spirit being at the top of the hierarchy chain, spirit inhabits, or all of humanity begins to inhabit spirit. Yeah, and there's that humility moment. The realized human being gets down on its knees, prostrates itself, and says, I hand back my sovereignty to you, God, because I know you are the real me. I am you, you are me, we are all one, sovereign oneness. There's no outside force. There are no other people. There's no authority figure. All is equal. All right. So what else do we have on our list? So the chaos is when, and hierarchy kept everything in a nice, neat little package. Spirit, soul, human. And then we're doing a new thing. Then it becomes chaos, kairos, from the Latin kairos, chaos. Without chaos, there's no creation. That's how we created Earth in the first part. You can't create through categorical, hierarchical structures. It has to become chaos to become creative. And that so si hun that comes from source, not from soul, it creates a perception of having a dark night of the soul because the fiery vibration of truth from source or spirit or I am consciousness is cast down upon the soul, and the soul goes, oh my God, I'm in the dark night of the soul. It's like, take a deep breath. That fiery vibration of truth, also called so si hun, it prepares the nervous system to move beyond a dualistic experience. So the greatest thing that Kuthumi has shown us is that if you can regulate your nervous system, not manage energy, but regulate your nervous system by activating the parasympathetic, rest and digest, and he says, and play part of yourself, the disciplined curiosity, right? Then the nervous system is being prepared to be able to handle the light of source consciousness being infused into the biological body. The soul's had many, many, many lifetimes, but perhaps for you, spirit is having its first lifetime ever on Earth. We really let go of the concept of linear lifetimes of evolution. All of this is a devolution, right? You're returning, it's a backing away. You're not progressing, you're regressing into your true creator nature, but bringing all your wisdom and humanity and experience with you, which is really what Tobias was talking about in the third circle of creation. So Kuthumi and I have put together a ton of materials, and he woke me up the other night and he said, oh, Sarah, it's 3 a.m. How are you doing? And I was like, oh, I said, what is it, Kuthumi? And he said, can I stay another year? I want to stay to 2026. He's like, feel into your 2026 future now self. And I said, oh, wow, she's so full of light. Whoa. And he said, yes. And I am going to get us there. And I said, okay, Kuthumi. So Kuthumi and I have an announcement. It is both my first audiobook and Kuthumi's first audiobook ever. And we recorded it in a recording studio thanks to donations from all of you. It's not cheap to get a professional recording studio and a professional sound engineer, and all of your donations paid for us to do that. So we read Drum roll, please. We read this book in a recording studio. It took us 20 hours, and it's very, very good. Thanks to Joel and and to you. And we're not channeling ascended masters. They didn't do this. They didn't do this. We're channeling you, the beings who are right here on earth, allowing spirit to incarnate, spirit with feet, as Kuthumi calls it, the Magi's definitive guide to the new human species, carbon altered through consciousness. Yes, we recorded it, and I just uploaded it to audiobook platforms today, and it'll be available on all audiobook platforms in about 10 business days. And, audiobooks are so different than the way other spiritual materials have, or consciousness materials have been put out. You pay $595. You only have access for 90 days. An audiobook you download on your phone. You can listen to it when you're on the train. You can listen to it at the bus stop. You can listen to it as you're falling asleep at night. It might be a great, great medicine for those of you who have trouble falling asleep. And you keep it. You download it once and you keep it. And we're going to keep the price very, very low. We are doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? The old models of spiritual and consciousness materials just never felt right to Kuthumi and I. We had a really, really good financial year once, but the materials weren't landing. And I couldn't sleep at night. And I said, Kuthumi, the bank account may be full for New Energy Creator, our business, but I can't sleep because the materials aren't landing anywhere. And he's like, you're right. They're not, right? So we're doing a new thing. We also have the era of the Magus, which is now in Polish. We have a Polish translation, thanks to Anna. Anna, thank you so much. And there is a password in this book when you buy it to get all the audio on our website, right? So it's $33. You get all the audio on the website. The Polish version is only $10. Because a lot of the Polish people bought it in English and then they wanted it. So there's a lot of Polish people that we work with and we just want to say thank you. So it's a lower price because I think you probably will have bought it twice. Sorry about that. We're just working overtime. I haven't taken a day off and I don't know how long. But it's fun for me. Working with Kuthumi is play. Working with all of you is play. And I just absolutely love it. And I love my life. And it was hard to get here. When we first started out, I worked with Moria and then Kuthumi came along. We had a lot of stuff going on. We had I had a death threat from the organization in which I studied with before I started my own thing. I said, Kuthumi, what do I do to a person who's trying, who wants to take me out? And he said, tell him to come on in. Right. And that's how I responded to the threat. I said, you know what? Bring it on. Right? Bring it on. I'm just like all of you doing a new thing. And it's messy, messy human stuff. So our audiobook will be up soon. But if you go to our Patreon page, you go to Patreon, The Divine Blueprint, link below. The Divine Blueprint, you can get a sample of our audiobook, and we talk about the Atlanteans who returned. Now, all Atlanteans weren't from the temples of Tien Shambra. There were a lot of different areas in Atlantis. The world does not revolve around the temples of Tien or Shambra. There's a lot more really great stuff that Kuthumi and I bring in that's not limited to one faction, one spiritual faction in Atlantis. It brings in the totality of the Atlantean experience. Kuthumi and I lovingly and with honor consider this to be a continuation of the journey of the angels. This is all about returning to innocence, the original intent of the human standardized form, a return to innocence, living in the biology free from suffering, free from qualia, free from programming. We're writing new energy codes. We're doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? All right, Kuthumi, what else do we got? Oh, so we are in 2 programs right now. We are doing Unraveling Realization, exploring the infinite mystery of the I am that I am. We're doing that with 9 beautiful beings, Kuthumi and Aaliyah. And in that program, I channel Kuthumi directly to provide personalized one-on-one support. There's not a one-size-fits-all approach. There's it's not a video series that was created for thousands of people and it's all going to land on those people. Kuthumi gives one-on-one personalized support to each person in that program. We're also doing the Anatomy of Light, the new human database. We have 40 people in there and we began that program. It's less personalized and more about a ad hoc consciousness called the Sovereign Collective. It's not a group. It doesn't have personality dynamics. People aren't arguing about what consciousness is and isn't, or pointing fingers at each other. Their human personalities have integrated, right? So it's an ad hoc consciousness for realized beings to gather to co-create materials. This is a Sovereign Collective book. This is a Sovereign Collective book. And the ad hoc consciousness comes together to form these creations, and then it disbands, right? The Sovereign Collective is not going to be formed into a, super structured organization, multi-million-dollar thing. It's like, no, let's come together, down and dirty, get it done, disband, right? So we're finishing up our Sovereign Collective work, and then Kuthumi and I will continue to work together. We keep extending our contract. At first, it was 2023. Then it was 2025. Now it's 2026. So Kuthumi and I's next program will be Kuthumi, you, and Sosi Hoon. And we're really going to dive into the dynamics of energy and consciousness coalescing, coming together. So if anything, I hope you understand a little bit better, if it's something you've been struggling with, the difference between energy and consciousness. When you feel into the difference between energy and consciousness, that's when they can come together in the heart center and in the biological body. We're also working on a Kundalini Shakti pranic flow class because it's something that's really missing from the materials, where people have come to us and they're so amazing, but there's a tiny missing link about what creates the pranic flow. You can't be on your bond screen and have the plasma injected into the energetic grids of your divine blueprint without the Shakti pranic flow that is Kundalini going up and down simultaneously. So that's really missing for a lot of people that we work with. So we're going to be working on that too. We ask you to feel into the anatomy of light, because when you feel into the anatomy of light, which we made a little video about, thank you, Aaliyah. Thank you, Janine. When you feel into that, we channel you. If you're not feeling into it, we have nobody to channel, right? We can't channel from the Ascended Masters Club. We can't channel from beings not on earth. We have to channel from you. So when you take a moment and feel into it, Kuthumi and I tap into that, and then we channel you back to you. And that is just a blast. That is just a blast. So Kuthumi came up with this 365 days of light. It's a new energy routine in which you show up every day and feel into your biology and your light body simultaneously. And as you feel into them each day, they start to come together. When you do that, stuff will start to pop up, stuff stored in the body, stored in your hips, old emotions, stories from other lifetimes. All the stuff comes up to the surface. Energy returns to its neutral state. Energy returns to source. So I did this. I've been doing this 365 days of light. I reluctantly recorded it at Kuthumi's request. Sometimes I have to go, okay, deep breath. But I've been doing it for 11 months, and Super Bowl Sunday, I was at my partner's house and was, hanging out and watching a little bit of the Super Bowl, and I had to go lay down. And I had because instead of a hot flash, I'm a woman of a certain age, I was having Kuthumi called it a light flash. And all of a sudden that Shakti shot up and down. It was going both directions simultaneously. And I was in that cosmic consciousness experience, the plasma entering the electromagnetic grids, creating the BON, sovereign screen of creation, where you're a creator in your creation. To be a creator in your creation, you've gone beyond the idea of soul realization, and you're allowing spirit to infuse into this biological form, the original intent of this standard biological design. So I was laying there having this cosmic consciousness experience, drug-free, mind you, and Kuthumi was guiding me through the whole thing, every step of the way. He's like, now do this, take an 8-degree turn to the right. And he's like, okay. And then it went into my physical brain and mental body, subtle body. And he said, okay, now don't believe any thought that arises for the next 2-3 hours. He's like, because your mind's just doing this stretch and snap, stretch and snap. You can listen to our stretch and snap channel in the audiobook of this that's coming out soon. So I'm not just channeling these materials and then I go do human crap. I live this. Kuthumi's with me 24 hours a day to make sure I get this and I'm living this. And if I'm not doing it, he grabs me and pulls me this way. I also am interacting with my source, that is Sarah, and Sarah's infusing into this biology. Lauren is a needle in the haystack of God. We have plenty of materials on that too. Instead of being little YU, big YU relationship, we're in the Sarah unmanifest and Sarah manifest. Something that is essential for being a fully embodied light being. We're putting it in the Western terms, but it all comes from the East. We're teaching you Kriya Yoga, but we're repackaging it. Kuthumi's catchphrase this last month has been open to all like a big red ball. Open to all like a big red ball. That's Kriya Yoga. You open to all like a big red ball and you feel everything. All right. We are Sarah and Kuthumi. All of the things we mentioned are on our website at becomingsarh.com. We have everything. Oh my God, so many things on our Divine Blueprint page. And we have all of our core courses on our website. It's no paywall, which means it's free if you need it to be, or by donation if you can. We love you. If you don't have the money to donate, take the course anyway. We're doing a new thing. We are here because of generous donations, and we'd like to keep everything low cost. And we do private sessions, and we are booking out to April if you'd like to do a private session with us. We work with people in post-realization life, and we love it. Kuthumi's with all of you. Everybody choosing the new energy, human carbon, altered through consciousness. Kuthumi is with you every step of the way. Sarah's there in the dream state. I get emails every day. Oh, Sarah, you were in the dream. You ripped my smartphone out of my hand. Yep, it was me. Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. Right? And Kuthumi and I love playing with you in the ethers, and that never costs anything either. There's not another $600 course and then another one and then another one, and you only have access for 90. We're not doing that. We're on the playground. We're on the playground with you. Kuthumi's going down the slide. I'm pushing you on the swings. We are playing. We are playing. Kuthumi and I are 5 years old, forever curious, never arriving anywhere, just playing and playing. Rest and play, rest and play, rest and play. There's only 2 states of being for Kuthumi. It's rest and play, rest and play. Also teaching you Kriya Yoga in a fun way, not a guys, I because I'm so in the now moment and so like, la, 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 I forget how much work this is. And I look back and I go, oh, for Lauren, before Lauren realized Lauren integrated into source, before soul integrated into source, this was a lot of work. There were some tough hurdles to go through. Now, when So Si-hoon comes back around, I'm like, ooh, bring it home, baby. I love it. It's sensual. It's orgasmic, right? But when So Si-hoon used to come around, I'd be like, I'm not finished yet. I'm still a student. Oh my God. I'm in the dark night of the soul. And now So Si-hoon comes through and I'm like, it's dancing with the snake in my spine. Let's do this. Let's do this. I am doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? Yeshua was a true avatar yogi. I mean, just incredible, descending consciousness into his spine. It descended into his spine. He started to move his fingers and his toes when he was in that cave, the sepulcher, right? He started to, and he woke up and he was new, he was light, and he just rolled that rock right on out of the way and came out of the cave. And he's like, here I am, right? I'm no longer Yeshua the human. I'm Christ the consciousness. I'm not a souled being. I'm a consciousness. We're all going to get to that space the longer you namaste. Namaste on earth. Namaste on earth. All right, that's enough. We are Sarah and Kuthumi of Sovereign Mind, Biological Freedom, Source with feet, Spirit with feet. Oh my God. Walking on earth, perhaps for the first time ever, and we are love with you. All right, check out all the links below, and we will see you in March. More Anatomy of Light.